What's up, fam? Listen, I wanted to, I was eating this snack of berries, blueberries and strawberries, but I wanted to make a quick video and talk real briefly about time management, part two. Because I spoke earlier about how to literally use the tools to work in your advantage, from the paper calendar, like your planner book, to your phone, your electronic calendar, to your wipe off board, that I have on my wall. You can't see it behind me because it's over on this wall, and how to sync them all in. And I also talked about how it's important to make a decision that you're going to take control of your time and you're going to be productive with your time. And so what I want to do is kind of backtrack, because way before the tools come in place, you really do have to know where you're going in order to know, how you're going to get there. Because the tools will let you know how you're going to get there step by step. Write this down. You have this appointment here. You have this obligation here. You have this time blocked for a particular reason. But if you don't know where you're going, it's just like getting in your car, putting on the GPS system and saying you're putting in the time, you're putting in, the location, but you don't know where you ultimately want to end up. Your GPS won't even know what to do, what direction to take you in. And so it's the same thing when it comes to managing your time. I don't even really like the word managing your time, because I don't think you can really manage it, because things happen, but what I do think that you can actually do is just be mindful of your time. Be mindful of the goals that you have. Be mindful of where it is that you want to go. Like, what do you see every day? Are you seeing your goals in front of you? Are you writing down those goals? And here's the other thing. Are your goals big enough? See, a lot of times we'll just write down. Sometimes people don't even like to say what their goals are. You ever met anybody like that? Maybe it's you. Sometimes people don't like to speak it in existence, to existence, as they say. Sometimes they don't want to say it to somebody else because they know secretly they're giving themselves an out. So what I mean by that is, if you don't ever say it, therefore, if you don't ever achieve it, no one will know but you. But isn't that worse than saying it and it not coming true, not coming into being, because you know what it is you wanted to do and you weren't bold enough to not only go after it, but you weren't even bold enough to say it? To me, that would be worse than having somebody else say, oh, I know you said you wanted to do such and such, but you didn't do such and such. To me, that wouldn't even bother me, because I would know, because I spoke it to existence, because I said it to someone, then that means that I have to put the action behind it. So if someone were to come to me and say something as ridiculous as, how come you didn't achieve such and such? One, I know I got the wrong people in my circle, because I need people to celebrate me, push me forward, tell me, yes, I can do it, cheer me on along the way, and pull my shirt tail to go, hey, I know you said you wanted to achieve that goal. I've already achieved that goal. Let me steer you, let me guide you back to the finish line, because you're getting off, off track. You're going a little off kilter. I need people like that in my life. I don't need somebody, mocking me because of whatever goal that I didn't set. Because really the reality is that if you got somebody mocking you for what it is you didn't do, what the heck are they really doing? Right? So, like I was also saying, you want to, these strawberries, y'all, and blueberries. You want to really set your goals higher. You want to make your goals big. You want to dream big. You want to dream huge. I think it was Les Brown that said it, is that you want to reach for the moon, because if you fail, you're going to land on a star. Sometimes what people do is they set their goals so low and they hit them. I think Les Brown also said that too. So I challenge you today, before you start, trying to figure out how you can manage to do everything with your time, What are your real goals? Write those down. Work backwards from those goals. Because I promise you, if you have real goals that you really know, like you know you're going to achieve them, you don't have to know how you're going to achieve them. You just have to know that you're going to make it happen. So once you know that you're going to make it happen, guess what? The time management doesn't even become a big factor, because you know that no matter what, you have to make it happen. It's just like when you're on that journey. You're driving in your car, you put in the GPS, you put it in your GPS where you're going to go. Let's say you need to be in Atlanta, right? You know that you have to start out at this point. You look in there and it happens to tell you it's going to take you 7 hours or 6 hours or whatever the time frame is to get to Atlanta. You're going to the Marriott Hotel in Atlanta, right? At the airport, let's just say. Now, you know that is your destination. That is your final destination. What happens along the way is none of your business. You just have to stay the course. Whatever the GPS is telling you. You might run into some weather. It doesn't matter. You don't turn around and go back home. You keep going. You may slow down a little bit. You may have to pull over because it may be such a downpour that you can't see. So you pull over a little bit or you slow down, right? But your final destination is the Marriott at the airport in Atlanta. You may, as you're driving along that course, you may have some detours. Your GPS may reroute you to a faster route, or it might tell you that you have to slow down. So now you go around the detours. You're following the GPS system because you're still going to reach that destination. You may not get there as fast as you wanted to because of the detours. You may not get there as fast as you wanted to because of the weather, because of the rain. But you're going to get there, right? You know that you've done everything that you're supposed to do. You got your butt in the car. You filled the gas tank. You put some snacks along the way, right? You got your music playing or you're listening to some podcast. You're all set, right? You're going to get there. You might, as you're driving along through the weather, through the detours, you may run into some traffic and that red line pops up on your navigation letting you know that you're going to run into some traffic. You don't turn around and go back home and go, well, I tried to make it to Atlanta, but it was raining too hard. I tried to make it to Atlanta, but there were some detours on the highway because of construction. I tried to make it to Atlanta, but there was a 1 hour slowdown because of traffic. Oh, well, I tried. Like, you would even think that was ridiculous. You might, be pissed off that you're, in an hour traffic delay, but you're not going to turn around and go home. You might be bothered that there's some detours and it's taking you into unfamiliar territory, but you're not going to turn around and go home. You might even be worried about the rainstorm because maybe you've never driven in rain before, but you don't turn around and go home. So see, you have to have that same mentality when it comes to your goals, whatever they are, business, family, emotion, whatever your goals are, whatever it is you want to achieve. Because when you go through the storms, when you go through the detours, when you go through the traffic stops, all of those things, you know what it really means when you come out on the other side and you reach your destination? It builds your character. You got to learn how patient you can really be. You got to learn, you just had to trust the course. You got to learn the discipline. You got to learn all kinds of things that you would have never learned had you turned around and went back home. You would have never learned it. And 9 times out of 10 or 10 times out of 10, when you reach your destination, how do you feel after, going through the detours, after going through the rain, after waiting in traffic for an hour? How do you feel when you reach your destination? You're like, oh, I'm so grateful that I'm here. Oh, and that nice, beautiful hotel room is waiting for you. The staff is extra, extra friendly. It's always worth it, isn't it? It's always worth it. Any detour that I've ever gone through, every traffic jam that I've ever sat in, every rainstorm that I've ever gone through, both literally and figuratively speaking, It has always been worth it on the other side. So I want you to take that same mentality when it comes to your goals, your real goals, those real dreams that maybe you've never told anybody else. Write them down. Write them down to where you can see them everywhere. Who cares what someone else thinks about what God has put into your heart and your soul for your vision? How can you be ashamed of writing that down? How can you be ashamed of looking at that and reading it every single day and rewriting it every single day? How can you be ashamed of something that God put in your heart and in your mind and in your soul? There's no shame there. Then you get those tools that I talked about in that first video. Then you get those tools and you start making it plain. You start making the time. Just as if you were getting in that car and you were plugging in that GPS. You're making sure everything is set. Your mirrors are set. Like I said before, your music is set. Or whatever it is you're going to listen to, you're making sure all your tools are in place. You got your gas. You got everything you need. It's the same thing when you're buckling down and trying to manage your time. You got everything you need in place because you know exactly where you're going. So I'm going to finish eating these berries because it's time for me to go after my goals as well. Hope you all find some value in this. Have a great one.